The single most expensive thing your dealership will do is getting a new customer. In fact, a recent study found that it costs dealerships about $633 per new vehicle sold. When you add up the advertising budget, the salary of staff, and the time that it takes, it can cost up to 10 times as much to obtain a new customer rather than retain an existing one. Not to mention that retained customers are easier to deal with, usually don't price shop, haggle less, are more likely to close, and will pay you more for every sale. So it begs the question, why don't dealerships retain more of their customers and create loyal and raving fans? Well, it starts with our mindset. When most of us think of the word loyalty, we think that the onus is on the customer to be loyal. That's the customer's responsibility to come back and buy from us. But that's not how it works. Loyalty is a byproduct of the things that we do in our retention efforts that makes the customer want to be loyal to us. Customer loyalty is like an emotional bond that the customer has with you, that even if there are some bumps in the road, or maybe the price just isn't that amazing, a loyal customer won't complain because they value the relationship that you've built. You need to understand that no customer ever wakes up and says, I want to spend my money with that dealership, with that specific salesperson today. Retaining customers is about what you do before, during, and after the sale. Great salespeople are relationship builders who provide value and help their customers win. But even if you do provide a great experience when they first bought from you, you can't just assume that's enough to bring them back. I once worked with a dealership, and we learned that the lack of a retention system was costing the dealership over $120,000 per year. We found that the dealership was spending a lot of money to bring in new customers, but was losing them to competitors due to the lack of a purposeful retention strategy. Once we implemented a simple process for maintaining, nurturing, and building the existing customer base, this store was able to exceed their monthly sales goals while saving tons. They were able to decrease their marketing budget because they were closing many more deals than they were before, just by implementing a system that focused on earning referrals and made customers want to come back and buy again. That's the power of customer retention. So while we live in a world that's obsessed with marketing and customer acquisition, you actually have more control over retaining your existing customers than going and trying to find new ones. Why? Because marketing efforts attempt to convince a stranger to become a customer, whereas retention is all about maintaining that great relationship of trust that you already have created. So how can you retain your customers? Well, the easiest way is to prevent customer loss. Step 1, prevent customer loss by knowing your customers. Your ability to retain a customer has almost everything to do with how meaningful of a relationship you can build. So the first step in retaining a customer is determining whether that customer is worth retaining. It's important to remember that not every relationship is worth saving. Some customers may cost way more to serve than others do. So you need to be able to understand the value of each customer to help you determine how much you're actually willing to do to save that relationship. For example, let's say that you have 2 customers. Both spend about the same amount of money every year. But one of the customers costs 3 times as much time, energy, and money to serve and retain. Well, it may be worth just cutting that customer loose and spending those same resources on other customers who will ultimately deliver more profits in the long run. Knowing the current and lifetime value of your buyers will give you an idea of how much you can afford to save that relationship. Your greatest advocates and most loyal customers are those who fall into the upper right quadrant of true friends. Customers here have the highest current and potential value. These types of customers will often reach out to you with opportunities and will actively support you. You don't need to do much to retain these types of customers. When deciding who deserves your most attention, always spend your maximum amount of resources on those who fall into the butterflies category or the barnacles category. These types of customers are either high value or have the potential of being high value, and thus are more likely to buy from you and become loyal raving fans as long as you spend your effort retaining them. So don't spend equal on everyone. Be logical and spend more on those who are likely to have more value in the future. An interesting study shows that in car dealerships, older customers tend to be more loyal. Now, this may be because older customers get set in their ways easier, or it may just be that the younger generation is more unpredictable. Whatever the reason may be, keep in mind that the older generation customers are proven to become more loyal, so make sure you cherish that relationship with them. Step 2, prevent customer loss by asking for feedback. Now that you know that not all of your customers are created equal, and that all of your attention should go on those most valuable customers, how are you going to know if everything is all right? Asking for feedback is extremely valuable, as it will let you know of any issues or concerns that your customer has. And if they do, try everything in your power to fix it. I know that some of you are afraid of asking for feedback because it may cause you to do some extra work, but most of the time, feedback responses are usually positive, or they just need help with small fixable problems. And by fixing these small little issues, it will create loyalty in your buyer's mind and will make them want to keep coming back and buying from you. We learned that the true driver of customer retention and loyalty stemmed from the ease of getting a problem solved. What we saw was that almost all of the customers would return back to the dealership if they managed to solve the problem quickly and efficiently. So be proactive. Even if you have to spend a little bit of money to fix the problem, this is far more valuable than making them think twice about coming to see you, or worse, speaking poorly about you or your dealership. But there will be times where there just isn't much you can do, so do whatever you can. Sometimes a simple apology from a manager can help the customer feel heard and understood, and that will save you from a very painful and public battle with your customer. Step 3, make follow-up meaningful, memorable, and personal. Your retention efforts should always be thought of from the customer's perspective. So think to yourself, if I was a customer of the dealership, how would I like to be followed up with? If you just bought a vehicle, you may not want to see the newest and best promotions, right? Or if you bought a sedan, but you're seeing articles on how to maintain your truck, that's just not relevant to the reader. That's why, for retention efforts to be effective, they must be meaningful, memorable, and personal. Remember, customer retention is all about relationship building. So make sure that the customer feels like you are speaking with them, not at them. So now that you understand that customer loyalty is all about what you do before, during, and after the sale, in the next video, I am going to help you develop a personalized customer retention strategy that your team can start implementing today to help engage, nurture, and drive customer loyalty so your customers will keep coming back to buy from you and only you.
you.